All right. The next step, ongoing support. We talk about that quite a bit. What kind of options do we offer here at Pure Desire for the groups in the church?
Yeah, and there's really two aspects to this question. There's what can Pure Desire do for you and your groups? And then there's the question of what do you do as a church to support your leaders in your groups? And so, from the Pure Desire side, we have so many resources and tools that we want to make available to you. Many of them free, like the podcast, our free resources page, and then tools like the group leader training that you can use to continue training your leaders, making Sexual Integrity 101 available. I mean, just using our tools, I think, is where I would start. But also, we have a system of church group advisors. These are volunteers that are serving in their local church, have seen success in launching and maintaining a group ministry in their church, and are there just to do what their title says, to advise you on best practices, next steps for troubleshooting. We want you to have a relationship with them. And so if you've not connected with that person, or if you don't know who that person is, connect with Rich and Ashley and our groups team, and they'll get you connected to their church group advisor. Because we're here to answer those questions. And like we've said many times on the podcast, it might be new for you, but it's probably not new for us. And so we can say, hey, here's what we've done in these situations. Here's what we've seen. So that's on the Pure Desire side. On your side of the equation, I think there's a temptation when groups are launched and there's kind of that initial push that a church can get through that and feel like, whew, like we did it. We addressed that topic. We started some groups, and then those groups disappear off the radar for months, if not years at a time. And then a church will come back around and say, man, well, we tried that, but they kind of, disappeared after a while and no one was joining them. And we'll ask questions like, well, how often were you talking about it from the stage? Like, well, never. Were you listing the groups on your website? Oh, no, they were confidential. Like, no, the people in the groups are confidential, but having groups is not confidential. Like, you need to create a system where it is supported that we have groups that can help you. And so to mention those as a part of your church's discipleship process, to list that we have groups and here's who to contact if you're interested in more information. Like I said, another place it's not always appropriate to list the time and place the group meets, because that might make someone feel too nervous about showing up. And then my family's going to ask, why do you need to go to church on that night? Isn't that when the recovery groups meet? And what's wrong with you? And
for sure.
So not the time and the place, but the fact that you have them, making sure it's on your website, and then just supporting regularly. We recommend that once a quarter, as you get these groups up and running, that where God is at work in someone's story, and they're at that place of saying, I'd be happy to share part of my story, that you have testimonies up front, or maybe you video them. And that doesn't mean a person's going to stand up front and tell their whole sexual history. That would not be appropriate. But that they could talk about an aspect of growth, of victory, of freedom. And when you highlight a testimony, you are giving everyone else the message that this is something that we help with here and is not too big or scary for us as a church. There are options available. And that can just do a huge service to your current groups and leaders that feel like, hey, our ministry got highlighted, it got spotlighted, and now it's generating interest. And when you do that, again, even just quarterly, it keeps it in front of people. Because the other thing we've seen is you will have men and women in your church that the first time you announce it, they need it desperately. But the lies they're listening to or the shame in their life is going to keep them from joining.
Right.
And the second time they hear it, they're going to start to go, well, I think they're serious, but I'm just not ready. And it might be the third, the fourth, or the fifth time that they finally are convinced, okay, I think they're serious. I think they actually want to help me. And it sounds like when people have done it, it's safe and it works, that they're not going to out me and shame and make me feel embarrassed. It's going to be a really safe, confidential process. I'm going to sign up. So you've got to keep bringing it up so that people get to that place where they're confident enough to actually jump in.
Absolutely. And you have to understand that, like, just because you maybe have, a large portion of your church has maybe gone through group doesn't mean, oh, we need to stop doing this or we need to stop growing. I mean, the idea of becoming more and more aware of statistics and trends and the broken, like, as a leader in a church, as someone who's trying to help people, it is important to know what's going on in the world. It's important to know the brokenness your people are bringing in. And this idea of ongoing support, like, tap into the greatest resource you have. And at that point, it's going to be us. It's going to be our groups team. It's going to be the conversations with the church group advisors. It's going to be the resources. And I love Dr. Ted talked about it. And I've heard him say it a number of times, that we pay the dumb tax, is what he says over and over, right? Like, I don't know if he says it over and over. I just have heard him say it a lot, that we pay the dump tax so that other people don't have to, so the churches don't have to. And so we figured out a system that works, and it helps churches to really tackle this issue and create healthy congregations and communities of people. And that's what we're after, an ongoing developing growth of a church.